Hey, welcome to another episode of my diagnostic. Behind me is a 3.5 turbo Ford Flex, and I want to show you something interesting about this car. This car is leaking coolant. Unfortunately, it's coming from the water pump, and sadly, I have to show you where the water pump is. That is the water pump. Unfortunately, the water pump on this car is inside the front cover, and when it starts leaking, it goes to the engine. So this thing overheated, and because of the lack of coolant, and as soon as I checked the dipstick, and let me show you the mocha. See that? We call it mocha when coolant and antifreeze. Antifreeze and oil gets mixed up. But don't get me wrong. Sometimes these engines, they have a tendency of a warp cylinder head. So you gotta make sure that it is not the head that is leaking. Do some leak down tests. Do some compression testing just to be sure that everything is good. And you would know if your compression is if it's leaking in the cylinder, because this thing, when you pressure test it, it just you won't build up any pressure at all. The antifreeze just leaks, comes right out. So if you do a compression test on this car, and with that excessive leak on the antifreeze, if the cylinder head is bad, you should see right away which cylinder is bad. But with this, if you check your cylinder when you do a compression test, and you don't see any difference on the compression, then more than likely it's the water pump that is leaking. And to prove to you that it's leaking, I actually connect this coolant flush machine. So I'm gonna put antifreeze right now, and lo and behold, right here, it's coming from the weep hole. So there you go. And of course, it goes inside and drops to the oil pan, which in turns mix with the coolant, and there's your bad mixture. So I've seen so many videos on how to do this job, so I really don't have to show you how to do it. There's so many. Maybe I did it is for educational purposes only. I took the engine off and dropped it to the ground, just to get a good sight of what's going on in here, and hopefully you learn from it. So there you go. That's the water pump leaking, and it's a 13-hour job or more, regardless. However you want to charge the customer. But when you replace, please be sure to replace the guide. You can recommend the chain. You might as well replace the chain, replace the tensioner, and maybe the oil pump. But other than that, it should still be fine. You don't drive it, if the customer didn't drive it too long and expecting that they stop right away when they notice the temperature increasing. But on this car, they can only approve so much. They didn't want to do anymore, so they just want the water pump, pretty much. So, well, I hope anyone out there helped you, and this helps you find out what's going on with your car. If you have a car like this, like I said, pressure test. If it drops or not build up pressure at all, check your compression. If your compressions are good, everything balanced out, more than likely it's a water pump. All right, till next time.